In this lesson, we'll cover Copy Monitor, specifically for levels and grids. When we link two Revit projects together, for example, I'm working in a structural project and I want to link in my architect's Revit project, and I want to be able to monitor the elements from one project to another project to see what changes, like your levels or grids or floors or walls. First, since we'll focus on levels and grids in this lesson, let's look at what levels are created in my structural project. So in the project browser in the lower left, scroll down to Elevations and double-click East. I can see I have two levels created. If you zoom in, they're level 1 and level 2. That is in the current project. Let's go back to the floor plan. Scroll back up and double-click on level 1. Now, let's link in the architect's Revit project. To do that, click the Insert tab on the ribbon. All the way on the left, click Link Revit. The new window appears, and browse to where you saved your data files from the DVD for this class. The location should be on your C drive, Learning Revit Structure 2015, and then select Chapter 5. In Chapter 5, choose the Architect model. Set the positioning on the bottom to origin, and then click Open. This will load in the architect's file. Now, once the architect's file is loaded, we can actually look at the levels that are created from file to file and then set up copy monitoring. To verify the link, though, on the Insert tab of the ribbon, click Manage Links. This will actually show on the first tab the architect model that's loaded in. Click OK. Now let's look at our elevation view. So scroll down to the East elevation and double-click it. Now the Revit Architects model has been loaded in. I can see there are levels from its model and also levels from my project. Now the levels that came in with the architect model are labeled first floor, second floor, and roof. And as I mouse over each, I can see a binding box or the blue box appear and a highlight saying that it's the Revit Architect model. First thing you really want to do is we want to make sure our levels match, meaning the name and the height. For level 1, the height is 0 in my model and 0 in the architect's model. So the height is okay, but the name is wrong. So let's change the name for level 1. We're going to name it first floor. Click on it twice, just a slow click. Left click once, pause, left click again, and you'll be able to modify the name. In this case, type in first floor. Then click off. If it asks you to rename the corresponding view, for this example, say no. Now for level 2, let's do the same thing. Click once, pause, click again, and you can modify the name. This one is going to be second floor. Now for this one, we also want to change the actual elevation. Again, say no if you want to update the view. For the elevation height, click on the 10 and then key in 12 feet and hit the Enter key. Now my levels match in name and elevation height to the architect's model that was created. Now, depending on the flow, if the architect created the levels first and set up the overall building, we obviously would want ours to match the architect's. Now, the next step is to set copy monitor. We'll basically define the copy monitor, the actual view that we're linking, and then we'll link what we want to copy or monitor from file to file or Revit project to Revit project. To do this, let's go to the Collaborate tab on your ribbon. On the Collaborate tab in the Coordinate panel all the way on the right, you have a Copy Monitor button. Click the drop-down. Now there's two options. Use Current Project or Select the Link. We're going to use Select the Link so we can actually choose the right linked file that we want to copy and monitor using the Copy Monitor tool. So choose Select Link. Revit is now going to ask you to select the architect's project that you've linked in. Simply mouse over one of the level icons, such as roof. It'll highlight, you'll see a tooltip appear, and then left click. When you left click, the ribbon changes. This is where we can now set up what we want to monitor from project to project. On the ribbon, click Monitor. Once you click Monitor, the first thing you want to do is select something from your project and then select the matching thing from the architect's project. So what I'm going to do is select my first floor that I renamed. Just go ahead and pick it. Now Revit says we'll pick the corresponding component or element in the architect's project. I'll select first floor from it. Now those two are linked. I'll do the same thing to the second floor. Click second floor that I created, and then the second floor from the architect's project. Now those two are linked. Now the roof does not exist in my project, but maybe I would like it to exist. So what I could use is the copy tool on the ribbon. Click copy. This will allow me to specify the roof from the architect's project I want to monitor and copy into my current project. So go ahead and click it. This will then update, and I'll see the text and the actual percentage in the lower left part of the Revit screen telling me that that element has been specified and updated. Now, if any names for any families need to be updated or renamed to avoid conflict, you'll actually see a message in the lower right. Just X out of that. Now, at this point, the monitoring is set up for my levels, and grids would be the same way if we had grids. We can view or modify any of these elements we want. We can look at the option or the coordination settings on the ribbon. And once we're done, we can click Finish. Now at this point, the two Revit projects are linked and Copy Monitor is set to monitor any change from elevation to elevation, or in this case, naming of elevation, or if we're monitoring other elements such as grids. So as a review, in this lesson, we talked about Copy Monitor and how to set up Copy Monitor for levels and grids. We first linked in the actual Revit Architects project into our structural project. Next, we set up Copy Monitor. We told our Revit project to monitor the Architects project. Once we did that, we linked the actual levels from our project to the Architects project that we want to monitor. Since the roof level didn't exist in our project, we chose to copy it to our project so we can monitor it as well. From there, we just looked at the other icons on the Copy Monitor ribbon, and then we finished the actual setup of the Copy Monitor.